Hello, everyone. My name is Julie McVeigh, and this is Unordinary Made Ordinary, where we talk about extraordinary experiences of everyday people. And today we're talking with Lillian Suarez. Welcome, Lillian.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So glad you took some time to hang out and chat with me because I'm really interested in hearing about your experiences. Before we get into sort of your experiences, could you give us just a little background on sort of who you are?
Sure, absolutely. I like to say I'm just a normal person, just like everybody else, except my experiences in developing my awareness with the spirit world or spirit period is louder because I've dedicated time in my life to understand how to become aware and how to receive and deliver information in someone's auric field, someone's spirit. I'm also a shamanic practitioner and a Reiki master teacher, but I honestly like to say I'm just an instrument. I started this journey because I had a near-death experience. I had an abnormal kidney my whole life, and I didn't know it. But prior to having that almost near death experience through the surgery because of my kidney in my late 20s, I would go and get read with my friends. Let's go get read. Yes, it's fun. Let's go to a psychic. Let's do some cards. And they would always say to me, you're here to be an instrument of light. Multiple people said that to me. And so in my early 20s, I did get a deck of cards and, I was using them and I really felt very, very at home with using them, but life was really hard for me. Life was really hard. I was on my own and homeless at 14. I'm sorry, guys, this is my dog in the
Oh, that's
background.
okay.
I was homeless and on my own at 14. By the
Wow.
age of 18, I had 3 children. I was a young mom in an abusive relationship. So again, that really wasn't something I felt that I had time for, although it enlightened me in some way. But I felt that inside me that it was different and it did something to me. But when I went to have the surgery because my abnormal kidney, um, I remember, just laying there and having an out of body experience and looking down at my body and saying to God, God, don't take me. My 5 kids need me. I promise to be that instrument that people say that I'm supposed to be. I don't know what that is, God, but I trust if you trust me that you will guide me and you will show me what that looks like. And, I came out of the surgery. I had an nephrostomy tube. I had a GP drain. I had a catheter. My body reacted like a 65-year-old woman's body. That's exactly what the doctor said.
Wow.
But I know that it was supposed to be that way so that I would have this awakening, this moment where I really felt that there was something, a desire to, I always had the desire to help people, but I didn't know what it was. And through life, I would give material things, and I would always find myself in need because I always gave and worked off an empty cup. So if I had a full cup, I gave because I had this desire and feeling inside me that I was here to give. So, I would give, give, give. And when I started to develop after the surgery, the first thing that I started listening to was Hay House Radio and Hay House online. And it's still amazing. They sell card decks, they have a lot of speakers that come on there. And I knew nothing, mind you, I knew nothing. But someone had said, hey, you should go on there. If I said, where do I start? She says, go on there. They have a lot of speakers on there, medium, psychics, shamans, everything. So I started to go on there, listen while I was at work. And if you called in, you would get like a free gift, like a book or a deck of cards, or and that's honestly how I got introduced to the chakra system. And then how I became very interested in becoming attuned to Reiki. And after that, after I got attuned to Reiki on my second level, I started to see silhouettes of people and I didn't know what to do with that. And to be honest with you, I was afraid. And at that point, I honestly felt convicted. And I said, I was raised Catholic. My family didn't go to church every Sunday, but they followed the beliefs. We prayed, treat others as you want them to treat you, integrity, faith is strong, hold on to it, turn to God. And so I remember just feeling like, oh my God, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe this Reiki was wrong. I started to question everything because, you don't mess around in the spirit realm when you're Catholic. You don't, it's something you don't do or something you don't talk about. I felt very convicted. So I went and I paid to sit with a medium because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Is this good? Is this bad? Did I open a portal? Did I not? So I went and sat with the medium, and she says, nothing's wrong with you. You have clairvoyance. And I said, what? She says, you are a medium. You have the ability to touch the other side. And I said, well, I just spent my money. I said, I spent my money. I need to leave. This is crazy. She said, look, would you allow me to walk you through? I believe you can do it right now. I said, I believe you're crazy. She said, no, listen, let me call my receptionist in. So she did, and she sat me down and she walked me through. And I actually bought a spirit through that her receptionist can identify. And I remember leaving there like, what just freaking happened? What was that? But even though I didn't understand it, it was this immense amount of joy inside my heart. Like I had found home.
Wow.
And here I am 15 years later.
Wow. Okay. So growing up, you had no premonitions or clairvoyance or telepathy or any of these psychic abilities that you were aware of as a child?
You know what? I wasn't aware, but I did.
You did.
And
Oh.
I did. Now I understand. I did now. I didn't understand then. Okay, because I'm American, but I'm a Latin descent, so I'm Puerto Rican. And so we are, right? We're African, we're Spaniard, we're from Portugal, we're from Europe. We have a mixture of everything inside us, right? Because of all the mixed ethnicities that came to be. And so when I started, I truly, really started to kind of feel that there was so much that I was getting that I didn't understand. I felt like I couldn't place it. I felt like um, it was something that I had to experience, and I felt like even now speaking about it, I feel warm. Like, when we call on the right now, you just asked me that, whoof, I got a heat through my body because wherever I am, my ancestors are. I didn't know when I was younger that was the case. All I knew was that I was very anxious child, and I lived in a home where my father beat my mother, and I would feel when he was going to beat her, and I would throw myself on the floor. No, mom, please don't go home. Let's stay at grandma's. Like I would, in my stomach, I could feel it. I remember being young and having that premonition and that feeling something was going to happen and saying, I feel sick. I don't want to go to school, lying because I knew, I'll be sleeping and something will wake me up and I would run to my mom's room. And sure enough, my dad was choking her, so like, if I think back at all those premonitions and the tremendous amount of anxiety I had if I was around more than 5 people or bigger groups of people, I would say yes, but I wasn't aware of it. I just felt that was who I was. And growing up, the reason I was saying that, growing up, we were taught a lot of traditional native things. We were taught a lot of traditional African things, right? Because in Puerto Rico, they believe in connecting with the earth. They believe in giving offerings, right, for your ancestors. So a lot of what I knew and I thought was natural and that many people did, they didn't either, right? So my family really didn't talk about the ability they had because my grandma's a medium, my mom's very intuitive. They didn't speak it verbally. They would just say, oh, if you said, oh, I had a dream, oh my God, and I lost my teeth. Oh, well, that means someone's gonna pass away. You gotta go light a candle. Things I didn't, they really didn't nourish it and come out and say it. It's almost like they just teach you what to do when things happen.
Interesting. Wow. So when you had your near-death experience, do you feel that that also triggered more for you?
100%.
Oh, okay.
100%. And I see it in my students as well. So I teach now. And I have been teaching for about 8 years now. And it feels like exactly what I said, when you touch the other side, now you become aware of how it feels.
Oh, interesting.
So when you touch the other side, your spirit becomes aware of how that feels. And then it becomes familiar, and it doesn't feel like you are in an unfamiliar space. Once that space becomes familiar, where your spirit is and where you were, that is also the space where I believe all of spirit resides.
Hmm.
So your spirit resides in the fourth dimension. When we push out our awareness from our heart center, we become aware of that light and that beauty and the energy, and we push it and expand it. We're becoming more aware and coming to where our spirit resides.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all of spirit resides, your guides, your loved ones, your ancestors, right? A lot of people,
Mm.
when they lose loved ones, okay, sometimes they start to say, I feel, I feel them with me. I feel them with me.
Yes.
And right, that's a very I feel
Mm-hmm.
them with me. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel them
Mm-hmm.
with me. And in the beginning, it feels unfamiliar, but after a while of that spirit being within your spirit, it becomes normal.
Mm. Interesting.
And then the person begins to feel as if not only are they blending with the spirit of their loved one, but they begin to blend with other spirits within that space.
Wow. So what I've also heard is that they sometimes will feel their loved one who has passed on, and the loved one will try to send them signs. But in some cases, that starts to fade over the weeks and months, and then their loved one, they may not even hear from them for a year or something. Do you have any?
Let's talk
Of,
about that. Let's
yeah,
talk
what is
about
that?
let's talk about that. And I said this to you earlier. We really know when we hit the other side. This is my philosophy. This is my experience. I don't know everything there is to know, and I don't say like it's 100% solid, but I tell you based on my experiences and the patterns that I see. It feels that within the first 3 days, when a soul lifts up from the physical body, mind you, let's talk a little bit more about that. What happens and how does this phenomena happen?
Yes.
And this goes back to shamanic beliefs. Okay.
Okay.
So we have 7 main chakras. We have 7 main energy centers. They're like
Okay.
funnels. They exist in the front and the back of your body, beginning from like your pelvic area all the way up to above your head. But you also have a soul chakra. Within the soul chakra, it's like your eighth chakra is where the shamans work, where they believe they can, heal people of impressions or trapped emotions.
Mm.
When the spirit detaches from the physical body, all of the information from the 7 chakras uploads into that eighth chakra. Experiences, memories,
Mm.
you know, their existence in this lifetime, because that is where spirit resides. That is outside of the auric field. So the eighth chakra is outside of the person's auric field.
Auric. How do you spell that?
The auric, Auric, auric
Oh, auric,
field.
like aura.
Auric,
Okay.
like your aura, the auric
Yes.
field, or some say magnetic body,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So that eighth chakra exists outside of the magnetic body. So once your body is no longer connected, all of those memories and all experiences that you have had sit in that eighth chakra.
Hmm.
When that soul, when the spirit realizes, hey, I'm not connected to the body, they start to do a life review, and they look at the would have, could have, should have, how their spirit was connected based on all the memories sitting right in that eighth chakra, will allow them to see how their spirit impacted the spirits of those still attached in this human experience in the human
Mm.
body.
Okay.
That's
Mm.
why and how spirit comes back and says, I'm sorry, I love you.
Mm.
Now I see. Now, sometimes in readings, people say, no, you're way off. My father would never say I love you in life. My father would never admit to that. Well, that's exactly what he's doing it now, because he has
Mm.
decided, but we have to talk about free will here, because free will doesn't go away when the spirit's detached from the body. The spirit still has free will, and they decide how much they want to heal, how much they don't, and their process through their life review, right? So they start going through this thing called life review, but the first 3 days, it seems that first 3 day mark, the soul, that's a time where the spirit is still very much used to connecting physically. They just detach from the physical body, right? So the spirit, even though it's not attached to the physical body, it's looking for that connection. It's messing with lights. It's coming to their loved ones' dreams.
Oh.
It's letting them know that it is present still, right? But now it's not physical. It's not a dense being anymore. It's energy. So it's messing with your electronics.
That's interesting. I always wondered about that.
Yeah. And when you are sleeping, your physical body is sleeping. But guess what? Your soul is still awake. That is when they do visitations. People say, "Oh, I was dreaming. My father came to me."
Yes.
Yep. It wasn't a dream, love. They were visiting, letting you know they're okay.
Wow.
Now, when we dream, spirit could come in different ways. They could come. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm recording.
I know. Okay. When the physical body is sleeping, the soul is still awake. When the soul is still awake, your loved ones will come in. They'll tell you, "Hey, I love you, I miss you," or "Hey, I'm sorry," or "I'm okay." But also what happens in our dreams is they take that time to heal.
Oh.
And it's very interesting. Now I commune with spirit. I do something called communing with spirit, where I say, and I tell my students, why do we feel like the only time that we can connect with spirit is when we're doing a reading? Absolutely not. They're available to us. They want to talk. Oh my God, they don't have a vocal cords anymore. They don't have a voice. They'll have a voice if we talk to them. So what I tell my students to do is, let's say, for example, we are wanting to understand the different types of ways of passing in reference to cancer, people that had cancer. I'll sit and say, all right, a visiting spirit, come to be with me that passed of breast cancer. Visiting spirit, come to be with me that passed of, colon cancer. So different types of cancer. And then I'll sit there and I'll feel and become familiar with how that feels. Because every illness brings a vibration.
Okay.
Right? So then the medium will become familiar with that vibration.
Okay, I was wondering about that too, because I've seen that happen when I've watched a couple mediums. Something, what is that about?
Yes.
Why do they do, they feel that illness or sickness or how they pass, things like that?
It comes as an energetic impression. Now, and this is my opinion, and some might disagree with me, but when my students say, "Oh my God, that spirit's touching me," I'll say, well, no, because they don't have a physical body. They're impressing upon you with an energetic impression.
Okay.
They're dropping a thought in your mind. I'm touching her hand. I'm touching her leg.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They cannot physically touch you. They don't have a physical body. It's an impression. It is a thought. Okay. When we're sleeping, to go back to that and finish, how do we heal? This is what spirit has told me through communing with spirit. Because I had a 5-week class and I worked with spirit to create the outline for the classes. One of my favorite classes. So they told me, when you're sleeping, sometimes we bring in memories of trapped emotions or memories of situations where the person that's still living has to, heal from. Because through the spirit on the other side's free will, they have decided, hey, listen, I'm going to accept this and I'm going to, to heal it. But because it's an energetic impression, once that person on the other side of life starts to heal it, it starts to release the person that is here. Because it is a connection of energy. And if that energy changes, then the color, shall we say, because there's different colors within the auric field, starts to change. So if it was a pale color, because of the situation that's unresolved and the trapped emotion, then it slowly but surely becomes a healthy color.
Wow. But so how, can we go back to what I was curious about is, for some people, not all, they start to lose that connection, or they seem to not have visitations or as many dreams, or it's like usually in the first few weeks, but then they sort of go off and don't come back and visit for a long time?
That is a good question. I'm so happy you asked that.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I know. And then other people, they, for some reason, they're able to maintain. I've interviewed people who continue to have these transdimensional relationships. It's
Yes.
just as strong as ever years later.
100. Oh yeah, and they're amazing and beautiful and fantastic. Let me tell you something. I was like, oh my God, I have literally, I sometimes do trance where I allow the soul to not just be beside me, but to push forward a little bit more. And I get to experience the love that still
Wow.
exists, because we have to understand that the connection was soul to soul anyways. You might have had physical touch and physical sensation, but the connection came from your spirit body to begin with. And if the spirit body goes on, then why wouldn't that love go on? And why wouldn't that connection go on? And the only ones that can change it are the humans that are still in this earth plane deciding how they want to continue that relationship.
Oh.
That's my opinion. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
right? So I've seen the beauty of that. But what happens is, it's never that they're not there. It's never that they're not there, because why wouldn't their spirit be with your spirit?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is this: the auric field should be fluid, and this is my opinion. The auric field should be fluid, like a cloud, like a fog, right? Where you can put your hand in and out of it. But sometimes with trauma and grief, it starts to feel more heavier and dense, like jelly. Number one, making it a little bit harder sometimes for spirit to flow in and out and blend with us.
Huh.
Right? So we know then that's one aspect of why they wouldn't feel them, because they're grieving, and that grief is so heavy that is consuming their auric field, and they're thinking that they're not connecting with them, but they are. And sometimes it's because they want to hear a big boom when spirit comes in, or they want to feel a kiss on the cheek, or it's not that way. And we're going to talk about that very quickly. We're going to go over the clairs very quickly, and I'll explain to you how it happens. But what happens here is, if you're grieving and you have not healed to a certain point, they don't want to come in and open that wound. They're still there, but they're not as close, because every time they try to come close, you break down and you cry and you shut down.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
if you notice, and that's my opinion, if you notice the people that say, I haven't connected with him for a year, I'm so sad and upset, he was my favorite uncle, how could he do this to me?
Yeah.
That's exactly why he's not, because you haven't grieved fully. And for him to open that wound,
So they can come back and visit you in your dreams years later.
100%. I mean, they can visit you as soon as they're aware and strong on the other side. So
Okay.
first 3 days, they're trying to communicate with their loved ones. Then they start their life review. When they first come, and it feels like this is what spirit tells me, when they first come into the spirit side of life, they have to build their awareness and build their strength, their power. The more power by their awareness of how they are and how they exist that they have, the more they can bring you a penny, bring you a feather, change the radio and bring a song that they loved, right? The more that they become a stronger light being, because now their frequency, they can, manifest different things into the existence of their loved ones.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it really doesn't. And again, I tell you guys this not just based on my journey. I'll tell you this based on, I've taught hundreds and hundreds of students, and there is patterns, right? It's like anything else. Like when you teach math, you'll see that there's a place where when they're learning it, they get stuck. Everybody, mainly for the most part, there's a high percentage, right? They get stuck with multiplications, whatever that is, right? So after a while of seeing these patterns, I am confident in what I say, because if it's just me, and I'm crazy. I am a little crazy, but not a lot crazy. I tell people, then why is there a pattern? And why do many of us go through it when we're developing? No. So when we receive information, in my philosophy, the spirit comes and blends with our spirit. Once our spirits are blended, then we begin to feel, hear, see, or know we want to say. And the energetic impressions, which come in a form of memories, emotions, okay, audio, sometimes we can hear it, okay, it comes in from the subconscious mind. Then it touches the conscious mind and it flows through our clairs, clear hearing, feeling, seeing, or knowing. Those can be used based on how the communicator was in life. So if the communicator was super emotional, then you're probably going to feel more through your clear sentence, your clear feeling. Your clear feeling is associated with the solar plexus chakra. Your clear hearing is associated with the throat chakra. Your clear seeing is associated with your third eye. And then your claircognizance, which is clear knowing, is associated with your crown. But the claircognizance is when you're feeling, hearing, and seeing all at the same time. So you just get the feeling that you know you want to say. Like, I know I want to say, Julie, that you have a grandmother that stands to the right of you all the time.
Oh, okay. I have a few on the other side. So
if I'm correct, would you understand a grandmother on mom's side that is passed?
Mhm.
Thank you. Because this feels to be a maternal grandmother that is with you. And boy, did this woman love to feed people. Can you understand that?
I don't know. I'd have to ask my mom. I'm adopted, so I'm thinking you're talking about my birth mother and
Okay.
her mom. So I'd have to ask my mom, my birth
No
mom.
problem. No problem. Thank you. I have
Loves
to
to
tell you this.
feed people.
Okay. I get the feeling she loves to feed people.
Okay.
And I get the feeling that your eyes are the same as hers. And when I say your eyes are the same as hers, I don't only want to say it's the color of your eyes, Julie. I want to say it's the way you look at life.
Oh.
It's the good parts
Okay.
of who you are and what you are. And I'm going to go and continue with this interview after I give you a healing message and tell you why that happens in mediumship. Okay. This woman loves you very, very much and puts her hand out to you to tell you how proud she is of you, because there is nothing that you won't do for someone.
Don't you dare make me cry.
Okay, I will stop. But I gotta tell you,
that's okay.
You know what, Julie? You are a lot like her, and she is so proud of you. Giving, loving. You don't give to expect anything back. You're just a good-hearted person. She says never change because life didn't change you, and it was exactly as it should have been. You need to hear that right now because you feel like, you don't give enough. You feel like there's always more you could do. And she's saying, I lived life that way. That's why I understand that. But you know what? I came to tell you that you do give enough. You give a lot. So I'm going to leave that with you.
Thank you.
Now, out of all the loved ones that could have came in, don't you stop to ask yourself the question why she particularly came in?
Of course.
Okay, let's talk about that. So you have a soul group of those that are passed on that would be part of you and who you were. In that soul group, there is always somebody that's going to meet your need. Meeting your need, meaning what did you need to hear today? What did Julie need to hear today in her life? And out of all the loved ones on the other side, she said, oh, based on her need, I can come in and tell her that because I understand her because she's like me and we both did the same thing. So she would be the strongest one to express that to you and give you that healing message. Now, you wouldn't be able to validate a lot of things because you didn't share life, but you sure could feel the love in which she brought that message in with.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. They're brilliant. I don't do anything. Mediums don't do nothing. This is nerve-wracking. Let me tell you something. Every time before I do a group, I start with, listen, guys, I don't know what I'm about to say. I don't know what soul is coming in. I have no idea what order they're coming in. But the one thing I do know is they are here to touch your soul. That I know. Because why would they not? if they have an opportunity to have a voice and come in and talk to you, they're going to do it. Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so amazing.
I deliver those messages all the time, but I gotta tell you, when I'm sitting there in a demonstration and they come to me and read me, I cry.
Yeah.
I get touched, I get
Oh
touched.
yeah.
And that's the way it should be, right, Julie? Because we should not only hear what the medium is telling us, we should be touched by the spirit that is coming in to give that information.
Excuse me. Get some
That's
water.
okay. That's okay. Yes. I truly think they're brilliant. And again, if we talk about commonalities, exactly what happened with you with your grandma right now, right, would make sense, because she said, hey, listen, she needs to hear that she does enough. She needs to hear that, she doesn't need to give more than she's giving. She is appreciated. Don't be so hard on yourself. And she knew you needed to hear that, and so many souls can say that, but she would be the one, obviously, that had the most commonality in life with the way she was to come in and say it.
Well, I'll be very interested to hear what my mom says about this. She did tell me before that I don't know if she put it in those words, but basically she did say that she feels like she and her mom, I and her mom have this sort of similar way of looking at life. I can't remember the way she said it, but when you said that, I'm like, wait a minute, mom told me that one time. This is very interesting.
Yeah, babe. You can't make that up. You see what I mean? You can't make that up. You know what I say about spirit? I said, they are so nosy. She was there listening to that conversation. She understood, okay, if I say this, she's going to remember that. She's going to know it's me here.
Yeah.
They'll do that too, They'll let you know that they're around by mentioning conversations you had, by mentioning the fact that you had the photo album out, a week ago, by mentioning, a birthday that passed, by mentioning a baby that was born. They'll let you know information that there's no way they could have known if they were not aware.
That is so amazing. So you teach classes, you teach people to learn how to do what you do. Now, can anybody learn this?
Now, that's a good question too. You got really good questions. We all have it. The higher power, the higher being, whatever you call it, whatever you believe in, does not exist in some of us. It exists in all of us. But there are some of us, through near-death experience or through trauma, that have learned to touch a place inside of us so deep that we are sitting with our spirit and recognizing our own spirit. And if we can recognize our spirit, then, like I said, when we began, then we can recognize the spirit that exists in all of spirit.
Wow. So I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to make sure we have so much. Let me see how much time we have left, because there's so many. Yeah, we have a little bit of time. What are your feelings now about death? If I can ask you that, if it's changed over the years of your practice. And I had another question I wanted to ask you and I just lost it. But yeah, if you could just share that, if that's changed. Oh, past lives. That was the other one I was curious. If you have learned anything about past lives and reincarnation, what are your views on that?
Sure. So, being a medium, it has really humbled me. I think I was, my soul knew I was a healer all along. But being a medium really humbled me, and it really makes me feel that being here in this physical body is a process, and one day I'll be detached from it, but I won't stop living. I won't stop existing. Really, who I am is all that I am enlightened to be. And that light exists in me now in this dense body, but it will continue. And so I think it has made me more aware of being a wonderful person, not taking people for granted, but not being afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. I mean, I don't think I ever really, thought about it. But when I did stop to think about it, I always tell my kids I'll be around still, I'll still be around, be looking out for those lights and that music. And, I actually tell the kids, like, I'm going to bring the scent of oranges. I'm going to, all these things that you really don't talk about, that I really talk about with my kids and the people that I love, to let them know I'll be around in that way once I hit the other side. So I would say it's made me calm about death. I'm not as, fearful with it. And also when I see people that pass away, it makes me look at this in a different way. Like I look at them and I say, but you're still existing. It's kind of, that part is kind of hard for me, that because I think like when I sit at a funeral and everybody's grieving and crying and saying goodbye, and I'm sitting there like, no, they're still here. They're still here. So that part sometimes can be challenging because you can't just go saying that to people that are not open to believing that, right? When it comes to past lives, remember when I told you earlier that, all of our experiences upload from our chakras into that eighth chakra? Within that eighth chakra, within our spirit, is every life, a memory of every life we have ever lived.
Oh, okay. That's a lot, right? Or that can be a lot.
It can, and it is, and it could affect our life. And I'm going to tell you how.
Oh, okay.
If it is true that all the lives that we've ever lived and all the experience that we've ever had sit in our spirit as an impression, then when our spirit comes back and reincarnates into another body, that certain things in this lifetime might still trigger that person's spirit because it has the memory of that lifetime. For example, I have had someone that had a past life of a monk. A monk doesn't require a lot. A monk is humble. A monk meditates. A monk prays a lot. A monk doesn't, need a lot. So he struggled with not being able to hold on to money, not be, because he really didn't, his soul didn't value material.
Right. That's very interesting.
He had to cut the cords for him in that lifetime. And shamans do what we call soul retrieval. So when we find that there is a past life that is affecting someone in this lifetime, then we look and see if there's a contract. Did that person live as a monk before? And do we have to heal that lifetime to detach that person from the vows of poverty that they took in the past?
Wow.
You could have been a nun, you could have been a monk, you could have been a priest, so I know. And
where did you have your shaman training and your Reiki training? And
so I went to a local holistic center here in Chicago for my Reiki training, the Healing Triad. And my shamanic teachings were from Muriel Gray. She is my shamanic mentor. And she has been doing this for 30 years. She is very new age. So she doesn't believe in, hallucinogens or anything like that, like ayahuasca or anything. And she blends a lot of what, we're doing now with what her ceremonies are and what she's done, which I really love, because I do truly, really feel like the veil has thinned and we all have more access to feeling spirit more. And
why do you think
intuition.
it's thin? I keep hearing myself echo. Sorry.
Okay.
Why do you think the veil has thinned?
Well, what brings me to that feeling is because every year my students seem to tap in faster and easier. They don't have to work as hard to sit in meditation and be mindful. And of course, we have to say, depends on the person. If the person needs more healing, it's going to take them a little longer because they have to do self-healing. And I kind of wanted to talk about that very briefly. Being a medium, it is not easy. And the hardest part is because we work from our subconscious mind. And I'm a hypnotist. And that really brought clarity to me once I did that training, because I was already doing mediumship. When we're working in our subconscious mind, there's trapped emotions there, that we have. So when we go into there to connect with spirit, we're being triggered. and we're feeling things that we have to heal and release. So a medium, not only in development, but forevermore, should always sit with themselves and sit with frequencies to help break down the filaments of trapped emotions. Because when we are doing mediumship and there are communicators or visiting spirits, shall we say, coming in and bringing different emotions, we could be triggered if those emotions are not healed within us.
Right. Of course.
So we're
Yeah.
constantly doing shadow work.
Mm.
We're
Okay.
constantly doing shadow work. But reincarnation is beautiful, fantastic, and wonderful. I love it. I believe in it. I believe
Do
in
you
it.
believe we always choose to come back to this planet, or can we go to other planets, reincarnate on other planets, or do you not know?
I've never thought about that other planet stuff. I just thought about the earth plane. And I know some of us just decide we don't want to do this again. Some of us decide we want to, and we want to, heal or mend something, but some of us decide we don't. I don't. I believe that I'm connected to the Palladians. I'm not really, I don't really read a lot about aliens and things of that, but that frequency and that place, but I don't say it doesn't exist. I will not say that, because when I started my journey and I would meditate, I had really odd things happen to me. And it was an experience and a feeling, and I know that it existed. Like I would meditate and I would see, certain shapes, sacred geometry, platonic solids, all those things that come from above us. Attuning my hands to the Merkaba. I was like, what is that? What is it? So I don't say it doesn't exist. I just am busy with everything else I'm doing,
Yes. Well, you sound very busy and very knowledgeable. I wish I were feeling better. I shared with you earlier, I've been sick, so I apologize for my coughing and my having a hard time.
That's okay. I hope you feel better soon.
And that's why I feel like my brain is a little scattered with it. So I apologize.
No,
So if you say you feel like you came from the Palladians or you're related, do you think you had a life as would it be a Palladian? Is that what you would
I
call
do
it?
believe that. I do believe I'm part of that soul group. I do
Okay,
believe.
so you would have had one of your incarnations would be an ET or a Palladian. Okay.
I believe that. I know it
Yeah,
sounds
I've heard
crazy
that
to many,
before.
but I believe that 100%. Now, when I had a past life reading, they told me multiple times. When I had a soul realignment, told me, and they came up. And then one time, someone was listening to something, and I started to feel like my hairs were standing, and I felt emotional. Like, what are you listening to? Oh, it's a chat. It's someone channeling a message from the Palladian. So many things like made me feel so very connected.
Okay.
Before I was even told that, before I even knew. So I truly believe that I am.
And I've heard that that's called a star seed. I don't know. Have you heard that terminology?
I have heard that terminology. There's like
Sounds
different
like
groups.
there's a lot of star seeds
Oh
on
my
Earth.
goodness.
I mean, a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe all of us. I don't know, because if reincarnation is true, and if we have been around a long time, let's say 100 or more incarnations, and I don't know how that works. What's the average number of incarnations of people on this planet? I have no idea, but you would think that at least one of those has got to be from the other zillion planets in the universe, right?
Yeah, I would think
I don't
so.
know.
And they say there's different groups, different, alien groups, like the Lumerians, the Palladians. They say that, and the little bit that I've read, that, they placed a small portion of each group, and we were meant to be here to, live in peace and love. And, people started realizing that you can control people through, thinning the DNA and emotions and impressions. And so then that changed everything, right? But again, I really don't get deep into it, but I don't discount it.
Gosh, there's so much to learn. I'm just,
I know it.
I'm learning so much every interview, but what you're sharing really is intriguing. And you just seem like you have a wide spectrum of knowledge.
I love it because I genuinely love this. It's not like I said, oh, I'm gonna do this from the beginning. I'm gonna be a medium. I didn't know what a medium was. Listen, when that when I went to that medium, she's like, "You're a medium." I'm like, what? What is a medium?
Yeah.
Why do I keep seeing my grandmother's silhouette? I'm scared, you know, like so. With me, I would do things and then I would look for the explanation. You know, I would experience it and then I'd be like, what was that? Astral travel, you know, trance, like mediumship, psychic, healing. It was, I always experienced it and then I looked for the explanation, you know. So that's why I'm so confident about it, because I know I'm not crazy and I know what I've experienced. And I'll tell you what, I know I'm a better person.
Because of it.
120%.
Mm-hmm.
I have come from a broken home, been homeless at 14,
Mm.
abusive relationship, 3 kids by 18, verbally abusive, sexually abusive, you name it, house fire, losing, and nothing broke me. And even after, when I started this journey, after I started this journey was when I had the house fire. People saw me go through that and said, how, oh my God, how did you go through that so gracefully? I said, because I was richer than ever. I didn't lose my light. I didn't lose who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take any of that. Yes, am I sad and emotional about pictures and memories? 120%. Am I sad about my doggy that I lost? 100%.
Mm.
But it made me feel rich.
Wow.
And I realized how much power and beauty we have inside of us that we don't tap into.
Hmm.
We're looking outside. Looking outside for your happiness is always going to leave you empty. Oh, I like those shoes. Let me get those shoes. Oh, I'm going to get the shirt to match those shoes. Oh, I'm going to get the pants to match those shoes. Oh, I'm going to get the watch. You know, and you go on and on, right? You're always kind of looking. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to treat yourself and have things that you like. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have to look inside to heal yourself within you,
Mm-hmm.
if you start looking outward and making somebody else your lifeline, you're gonna hit the other side. Do your life review and hope that someone gives you a voice. Come in and say sorry.
Mm. So I didn't realize you also are a motivational speaker. You have
Hell yeah.
your resume is so long. I mean, you're amazing, and you look like you're 30. So I don't understand how you said you have, but you started young. You have, I thought you said you have
I have
5 kids, but you have
5 children. I'm
5.
45. Thank you for the compliment. Woo,
You're
15 years
so
younger. I would
young.
take
Well,
it.
45 up. Yeah, you look so young. You're so youthful, and you have so much knowledge, and you're so full of life, and such a good, beautiful energy about
Thank
you.
you.
Just like, wow. I'm just really impressed and really thankful that you said yes to doing an interview so we
Yeah.
could connect. And I want the listeners to connect with you. So how do they do that?
Yes, and you can have me back. Any
Oh,
topic.
okay.
Reach
Thank
out to
you.
me. Have me back whenever you
Really?
would like.
Okay,
And
I would like
yes,
to.
and I will get other people that I would refer to you. I got a whole platform of people that you would find intriguing. I promise you. I will refer them to you.
Okay. Thank
They can
you.
find me at lillianmedium.com. I do one-on-one mentorship sessions for people that are developing spiritually. That could be mentorship for psychic, mediumship, healing. I focus on energetic responsibility and I teach what I call spiritual hygiene,
Mm.
meaning that just like our physical body needs a bath and a shower, so does our spirit body.
Oh, okay.
So, yes,
That's
girlfriend,
something
remember?
I would need to learn about. Yeah.
Yeah, remember how I said earlier that, our auric field can become like jelly and it should be
Hmm.
softer? That's what I teach. How do you soften it and how do you keep it that way?
Yeah.
Right? How do you soften and keep that way? So you guys can find me on Facebook as Lily Morales. I am going to be changing my name from Suarez legally to Morales, but I'm already
Oh,
Morales on Facebook, Lillian
okay.
Morales. Um, and the best part about that is, guys, listen, if you need a mediumship reading, but you feel like you can't afford it, sometimes my students will go on my page and say, I'm looking for a sitter. Um, or I'll say on my page, I'm looking for a sitter. A sitter means someone to sit for a student to read you at no cost, number one.
Oh,
Number two, I have a group where all my students look for sitters all the time. So if you want, find me on Facebook again as Lillian Morales and message me, and I will add you on to the student reading group. There's always someone offering a reading in there.
ooh,
Okay, it's
cool.
our way of giving back. This is not just about prosperity. This is about the true healing of why we're doing this, the meaning is for the healing, right? So yes, and if you want, you could even text me, text the word sitter to 630-546-5478. Again, that number is 630-546-5478. And what I do is I put you in a group within my phone. And when I need a sitter, I shoot out a text to see who's available to sit for my students.
Wow.
I have
Okay.
a psychic advanced class, a psychic medium, I'm sorry, a mediumship advanced class, a psychic mediumship beginners class that I still have availability with. My advanced class is full. And I do one-on-ones for whatever you like, whatever you're guided to. But again, don't do it because it sounds good. You really got to feel that you connect with someone you're going to work with, right? That is the biggest thing. Does it feel right to you? I sound good and the conversation's right, but does your frequency vibe with mine? That is so important, you know, especially when you're getting mentored. Does the vibe connect? I got a YouTube channel as well if you guys want to check me out. It's
Yes.
on YouTube as Lillian Medium.
Okay. And I will put all of this, all the links in the description, the video description.
Yay!
So I guess we are out of time. I still want to chat with you, but
Yeah,
I,
connect. We can connect another time for sure.
yes. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for hanging out. And thank you to everyone for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this. This has been Julie McVeigh with Unordinary Made Ordinary. And you know what? Right before I sign off, I want to just give you the last word, just in case. I don't want to, if there's anything else on your heart before I sign out, I just want to make sure and give you
You
that.
know what? Yes,
Okay.
I do want to say something.
Okay.
Listen, guys, the holidays are here. So guess what? Put a plate aside for your loved ones.
Oh.
Put a little bit of food, put a donut, put something sweet. Light a candle for them. Trust me when I tell you, they're still there. They want you to acknowledge them, not cry for them. Yes, you have to release those emotions, but know that the spirit goes on forever. Physical body was just the vessel that carried the spirit, but the spirit is still there to love you and guide you. Live life like they're still there because they are.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad I was like, wait, I want to give her one last word. I forgot. So anyway, again, thank you for joining us. And if you did like this interview, give it a thumbs up, and then of course, subscribe if you like this type of content. And then you can hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube, and then you'll be alerted to future videos. And I just hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, or evening, wherever you are on the planet or off the planet. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.